A wonderful day to everyone. My name is Justin Junetibe from BSEd 3D and we are Team Cooperative Learning. So for today's lesson, we are going to dive in to a lesson in which you will know more about cooperative learning. But before we start, we shall know first the objective of this particular lesson. So, at the end of this lesson, the student shall be able to describe cooperative learning, explain the 5 variables that influence the effectiveness of cooperation. Next is identify the steps in cooperative learning models. And lastly, determine the cooperative learning techniques. So what is cooperative learning? So cooperative learning is an educational approach that uses small groups so that the students work together to maximize their own and each other's learning. So from the word itself, cooperative meaning, it involves working together to achieve a common goal or learning cooperatively. So students are working together to attain each other's learning. That's why in cooperative learning, we have groupings so that the students can do a collaborative work to establish not only academics but only social learning skills. Because cooperative learning is much better unlike individual learning, especially in science. Because we have to do a collaborative work or experiment or a project so that it will be done much faster and done beautifully. Because when we are doing tasks, we are asked each other for information. We also evaluate the ideas of the others. And we monitor one another's work. So we are learning by doing it and also we learn collaboratively. That's why the teacher only or facilitates only or serve as a guide, not spoon feeding its students. So here in cooperative learning, everyone succeeds when the group succeeds. So now, let's dive in to steps in cooperative learning models. So first is develop clear instruction. So here, the instruction must be clear. That's why in every group, there's a leader so that it leads its member to the right way. Next is explain the task. So here, it is very important that you explain the task carefully so that it can be done smoothly without being rushed and without having an error in the task or in a group activity. Next, explain the task needed social skills. So this is also important in cooperative learning because our social skills are the ones being activated to make an engagement to others. So they are 7 important social skills. So here, the first is sharing, like sharing information and stuff. Cooperative, listening, following directions, respecting personal space, making an eye contact, and lastly, using manners. So all of those are very important when it comes to socializing and also in cooperative learning. So all of those skills are the one that we are using when we do a collaborative work or groupings. Next is monitor and provide feedback. So in cooperative work, we must monitor the progress of our task. And if we needed, we must have feedback also from one person to another to address a certain errors because in cooperative learning, your opinion matters. Because if everyone succeeds, the group will also succeed. Next is ask each group to summarize. So we do a summarization to teach students how to only reveal the most important ideas and how should we ignore the irrelevant information so that we can have a meaningful work in a group task that we are making. Lastly, evaluate and assess group progress. So this is very important because after all of those steps that we do, we will came to the last part, which is evaluation and assessment. where we assess the quality of work that has been done and evaluate it if the students attain the goals or the objective of the task. So here in cooperative learning model, we use a teaching strategy in which the student with different levels of talent are put into groups and evaluated based on the success of the group as a whole rather than that of an individual student. So again, this is Justin Junentibay from BSEd 3B. Thank you.
A blessed day, everyone. I hope that everyone is safe and healthy. I am Rhea Velasco and I will be discussing about 5 variables that influence the effectiveness of cooperation by Johnson and Johnson. To be cooperative, to reach the full potential of the group, 5 essential elements need to be carefully structured into the situation. First is positive interdependence. Learners must completely participate and put effort into their group. Every group member has a responsibility and therefore must believe that they are responsible for their learning and that of their group. Students have the sense that they are in this together feeling, that each member's individual effort will not only help him but the whole group. The grade of each student is dependent upon the effort of the group members. You know, when you succeeded in structuring positive interdependence, when students perceive that they sink or swim together. This can be achieved through mutual goals like division of labor, dividing materials, roles, and by making part of each student's grade dependent on the performance of the rest of the group. Group members must believe that each person's effort and benefit not only him or herself but all group members as well. And second is individual and group responsibility. Every student in a group must demonstrate mastery of the content being studied. Each student is accountable for their learning and work and their own contribution to the group. Therefore, eliminating social loafing. Each goal is clearly identified, which specify what individuals are responsible for, what the group responsibilities are. The essence of individual accountability in cooperative learning is students learn together but perform alone. This ensures that no one can hitchhike on the work of others. In Tagalog, pabuhat sa mga kagrupo. A lesson's goals must be clear enough that students are able to measure whether the group is successful in achieving them and individual members are successful in achieving them as well. And the third is face-to-face interaction. Members promote each other's success. Students explain to one another what they have or are learning and assist one another with understanding and completion of assignments. Although some work may be divided up and done individually, other work must be done interactively with the students, giving each other feedback, challenging reasoning and conclusions, and teaching and encouraging one another. Important cognitive activities and interpersonal dynamics only occur when students promote each other's learning. This includes oral explanation and how to solve problems, discussing the nature of the concept being learned, and connecting present learning with the past knowledge. It is through face-to-face, promotive interaction that members become personally committed to each other as well as their mutual goals. And fourth is group processing. Group processing occurs when group members reflect on which member actions were helpful and make a decision about which actions to continue or change. The aim of group processing is to explain and enhance of the group. Group processing in cooperative learning has several purposes. First, it allows the group to improve its work. Its work together continuously over time, and then focus attention on group members and contribution in order to increase individual accountability and make sure the learning process simpler through streamlining. And last, reduce or eliminate action that don't contribute positively to the group's learning. After completing their task, students must be given time and procedures for analyzing how well their learning groups and how well social skills are being employed. Group processing involves both task work and teamwork with an eye to improving it on the next project. And last but not the least, the fifth is social skills. For successful cooperative learning to occur, social skills must be taught in order. Social skills include effective communication, interpersonal, and group skills. And others are leadership, decision making, trust building, friendship development, communication, conflict management skills. According to the meta-analysis by Johnson & Johnson, students in cooperative learning setting compared to those individual or competitive learning setting achieve more, better result, and gain greater self-esteem, such as classmates and learning tasks, and have more perceived social support. To be more specific, placing students in pairs or group improves their social skills since it teaches them to be more understanding, respectful, and attentive to their teammates or groupmates.
Good day everyone, I am Maria for BSEd 3D and I'm going to discuss the cooperative learning techniques. So I am going to discuss the think, pair, and share, jigsaw, and jigsaw 2. So first is think, pair, and share. Formerly developed by Frank T. Lyman, 1981. It is sure allows students to anticipate a pose, a question, or problem silently. Each member in a group think about a question they have from what they learned. So then they just need to pair up with a member in the group to discuss their responses. And then finally, they share what they learned at the rest of the classroom. So first ito, una mong gagawin is think. Mag-iisip ka ng about dun sa question kung paano mo sasagutin or parang mag-brainstorm ka ng sarili mo. Mag-brainstorm ka of your own. And then after that, uupo kayong dalawa ng partner mo and maghaharap kayo and then you're going to share what you've learned para mapakinggan din ikaw ng partner mo and ganun din yung partner mo gagawin. Mag-share din siya ng knowledge na nakuha niya. And the next is the jigsaw. What is the jigsaw? Jigsaw, students are grouped into 5 or 6 and each group member is assigned a specific task. Then must come back to their group and teach them what they learned. So parang same siya dito sa may think pair cooperative. Nag-share ng kung ano yung naintindihan or ano yung natutunan mo dun. Then example of jigsaw activity is in the blacklet in Europe. So where learners working in pairs read together, and then with information about the causes of spread of the blacklet. There are two versions of the text containing different information. So dito daw pareho kayo or sabay kayong babasahin yung block set in Europe, and then after that, you're going to share kung ano yung nakuha mo, and dapat different to dun sa may kasama mong nagbasa. So, next is the Jigsaw 2. This is a variation of Jigsaw 1 by Robert Craven, 1980. Is in which members of the home group are assigned the same material. So, parang ganun din to sa Jigsaw 1. Isa ko pang example ng Jigsaw is, kunyari, itong ginagawa nating reporting, and then, yung reporting na to is, meron tayong specific topic na binigay sa atin si ma'am, and then, binigay ng specific topic, and then sa specific topic na yon, meron tayong by group, and then sa by group na yon, nakahati-hati pa yun by each specific topic again. Of course, kunyari, about cooperative learning techniques yung napunta sa akin, and then i-discuss ko kung ano yung naintindihan ko doon. Hindi siya face-to-face, pero face-to-face, but I am discussing what I have learned in the topic. Of course, inaral ko muna bago ko share or diniscuss kung ano ba yung naintindihan ko. So, that is all. The next topic will continue Sir Cal Torres.
Good day everyone, I'm Cal, and I'm going to continue the discussion about the types of learning cooperative techniques. So let's begin with reverse jigsaw. This variation was created by Timothy Heaton. It differs from the original jigsaw during the teaching portion of the activity. So the jigsaw technique in the cooperative learning methods uses a small group structure to facilitate group discussion through which the learning takes place. The reverse jigsaw method also resembles the original jigsaw method in some way but has its own objectives to be fulfilled. So while the jigsaw method focuses on the student's comprehension of the instructor's material, the reverse jigsaw method focuses on the participants' interpretations such as perceptions, judgments through a very active discussion. So this method was mainly created to cater the higher class students. It is the best advice to give an explanation before the discussion the topics takes place. Next is inside-outside circle. So it is a cooperative learning strategy where students form two concentric circles and take turns on rotation to face new partners to answer or discuss the teacher's question. So, this cooperative learning strategy is sharing or discussion-based learning strategy that allows students to work with multiple partners. So, inside-outside circle works best when used with the whole class or a large group. Inside-outside circle is a great strategy for sharing. So this might mean sharing students writing as discussed in this post, sharing opinions on a matter, or sharing about what a student did over a school break. So reciprocal teaching is a multi-component approach that combines four strategies into a one cohesive structure of increasing comprehension of text, predicting, clarifying, questioning, and summarizing. So this approach helps teachers to explicitly scaffold learning to help students become more metacognitive about their reading and learning. Moreover, it helps students become more active, reflective, and strategic readers. Reciprocal teaching can be successfully implemented within both general education and special education classrooms. So direct instruction procedures and reciprocal teaching formats are effective within inclusion settings for all learners. So STAD or Student Teams Achievement Division is one of the systems of cooperative learning in which students learn to be formed into groups of 4 or 5 members representing the students with these skills and different genders. So the teacher gives a lesson and then students work in each group to ensure that all group members have mastered the lessons given. Then students carry out tests on the materials provided and they have to work on their own without the help of other students.
Groups. This is done to encourage and inspire group learning, team building, and cooperative learning. Rally table or written responses or problem solving. The students take turns generating written responses, solving problems, or making a contribution to a project. In rally table, partners take turns. The teacher provides a task to which there are multiple possible responses and provides think time. Next is letter I, TGT or Team Game Tournament. In this technique, the group will prepare for a trivia game. Students are engaged in small groups to study, and an incentive was given to the students as a form of motivation to learning. Have some fun learning the material. This is a group exercise and not one student is to blame. Team Game Tournament has a student-centered learning characteristic. Focuses on the students' knowledge construction in which they could find important information useful for construction.